Hi guys, my name is Pat Garvey. Welcome to iDrum magazine. Over the course of these lessons, we're going to look at some groove concepts and ways of constructing grooves and ways of taking grooves apart to build them back up and look at things in ways that you might not have done before, but looking at subject matter that you will have heard or have possibly looked at before as well. We're going to go into some technique-based ideas. We're going to look at a few of the whys and wherefores. The most important thing is we're going to really break it down to fundamental points within each lesson and really try and get to basically the crux of the matter and open a few things up. We're going to kick off with this first lesson, which is a rudiment-based groove idea. Okay. Now, don't let the rudiment thing put you off. Okay. Rudiments are exactly that. They're rudimentary. They're the basics. You need to know them if you really want to push yourself on a drum kit and really take it somewhere. Before each lesson, we're going to look at, we're going to go over a few of the basics or a few of the things that you need in order to be able to sit and go through these lessons and go through the examples that you can look at with the notation and all that kind of thing. So for this lesson specifically, you're going to need to have a reasonably good understanding of stick grip. That is how you hold your sticks. Okay. Now this is stuff we're going to go into over the course of the lessons, but these are based around assuming that you've got that knowledge. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to need to be comfortable with your basic subdivision. So by that, I mean playing things like quarter notes into 16th notes into 16th note triplets and back again without having any kind of worries or getting too stuck. Now, if you're not that comfortable with those things, that's all right. That doesn't mean you can't have a look at these lessons. It doesn't mean you can't try some of the stuff, but it does mean that it's not going to work for you until you've got those things just cooking a bit, okay? So if that's the case, it's no big deal. Just go back, have a look over stuff, practice it. You're going to be able to practice the examples that we're going to do with this lesson specifically anyway, which is a good place to start, okay? All of the exercises we go through on these lessons, and I'm going to keep referring back to this because it's important, you need to get them right at a base level. Each level we go through with this stuff, you need to have it right, okay? If you don't, then you're just going to get to the end result. It's not going to be that solid and you're going to have to go back plugging holes and filling gaps and that's no fun, okay? So it's worth just spending the time and getting these things right to start with. Now, what we're going to start with here is we're going to get onto the rhythm later, okay? The actual groove, sorry, not the rhythm. We're going to look at the rhythm now and we're going to look at it in its base form. Okay, so what we've got, the rhythm for this, what we've got is a 2-bar rhythm on loop. Okay, so we're just going to be looping these 2 bars. Once we've got it moving, we're just going to be looping these 2 bars. All this rhythm is made up of, okay, is a quarter note, groups of 16th notes, and groups of 16th note triplets, okay? In the first bar, you've got, the first beat is you're just playing 1 quarter note. The second beat of the bar, you're playing 4 16th notes. The third beat of the bar, you're playing 4 16th notes. The fourth beat of the bar, you're playing a group of 16th note triplets, okay? 16th note triplets, there are 6 of them to the quarter note, okay? So that takes care of all the beats in your first bar. Now, if you look at example 1 on the notation, you're going to see this 2-bar rhythm, okay? And at the moment, it's just a rhythm. I'd urge you not to go and look at everything else until you've been through it, so that you've got a good understanding as we move through it, okay? As we've been through it, you do what you want with it. That's entirely up to you, okay? Within reason. But make sure that you get each bit right before you move on to the next, okay? That's the first bar. The second bar, okay? Beat 1 of the second bar, you've got a group of 16th notes. Beat 2, you've got a group of 16th notes. Beat 3, you've got a group of 16th notes. Beat 4, you've got a group of 16th note triplets. Okay, so rhythmically speaking, at least, this is very simple. Now, this is not simple, even at this level, if you're not comfortable with your subdivision. okay, of between 16th notes and 16th note triplets. Here's the rhythm. So this is what you've got, okay, on example 1 of the notation. I'll play it, the 2 bars, and then we'll stop and talk about it. So here we go, okay? There's the rhythm, okay? Nothing you haven't heard before, and that's fine. That's great. This is what this is for, okay? It's basic, it's fundamental. If you take that rhythm that I've just played and look at it, make sure you understand the notation, okay? If you don't understand the notation, go and find yourself a good teacher, or do some research and look at the breakdown of notes, okay? And start to understand how it looks, visually as well as sonically, okay? A lot of guys can get things sonically, but visually it completely throws them, all right? And we're just talking about the language of music here, okay? Aside from listening to things. If I play that rhythm again, okay, so that was playing it back to the first quarter note. Now I'm going to play that rhythm on loop, okay? Here we go. Now, that's the rhythm on loop, okay? It's at a reasonable tempo. I'd suggest you take that right down, okay? And get it really spot on before you move on to what we're going to move on to next, okay? Because what we're going to move on to next is applying the sticking. Before we do that, and this is important, okay? It's important that you've got control of your stroke, okay? At least to a degree that allows you to do this without having to struggle too much. And just quickly, before we go on to that, you want your fingers on your sticks, okay, for this. We're just putting this rhythm on a snare drum at the moment, okay? You don't want this happening, okay? But by any stretch of the imagination, you'll be out of control and it won't sound any good, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply sticking to that rhythm that I just played, okay? And the sticking, if you look at example 2, okay, on the notation, then you're going to see the same rhythm again, but this time you've got sticking underneath it. Now, here's where it gets rudimental, okay? Now, you've got 3 key rudiments in there, okay? And then you've got an inversion of one as well. Now, you've got, as you look at it, you've got a right hand, okay? Then you've got paradiddle sticking, right, left, right, right. Then you've got inverted paradiddle sticking, right, left, left, right, okay? And then you've got sticking for a 6-stroke roll, all right? Applied to these 16th note triplets. So it's just a different orchestration of a 6-stroke roll. So from here on, for the sake of argument, we're going to call that a 6-stroke roll, all right? So that's the first bar. The second bar, if you look at it, you've got the sticking, okay, for a triple paradiddle, right? Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right. Okay, triple paradiddle. Inverted paradiddle, right, left, right, and then you've got the sticking for a 6-stroke roll again, okay? Right, left, right, right, left. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to apply that sticking to the rhythm, but we're not going to apply any of the accents that you might commonly associate with those rudiments. And the reason we're not going to apply any of the accents is, first of all, for control. So we still want it to sound pretty much the same, okay? But secondly, because in a little while we're going to apply accents to this sticking pattern that don't necessarily conform to the accents commonly associated with these rudiments, or these stickings at least, okay? So if you go practicing it with those accents, you're going to be in trouble, because you're going to have to do a little bit more work to then get the accents working for you that we're going to apply. So if we apply the sticking to this rhythm, so here's the rhythm again. Okay, I'm going to apply the sticking to that rhythm now, right? Okay, so the sticking is going to allow us to eventually turn this into a groove, okay? And it's going to allow us to place accents in places around the kit that I think sound quite nice, okay? And turn it into a nice groove. Now, you'll notice there, okay, and you'll notice looking at your example for the notation, okay, what that sticking is now. If this type of sticking is new to you, or this type of approach is new to you, then that's fine. It takes a little while. It takes all of us a little while when we're introduced to new things, right, to get our head around it. What's important is you just spend the time getting it right. So there's nothing wrong with sitting there going, right? If you make a mistake, stop and start again. Don't carry on, okay? So if you go, make sure you stop and start again, okay? If you carry on when you're working these kind of things out and you're getting yourself used to them and you make mistakes, you're basically telling yourself that it's all right, okay? And it's going to take you longer to get to the end result, which is playing it in a way that sounds good, that you're comfortable with and works, okay? So stop. Start again. Always be quite strict with yourself with this, okay? Because these things can really eat away at you if you're not careful. Now, here's that rhythm again with the sticking, okay? Applied. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply accents to that sticking. We're still on the snare drum, okay? We're still on the snare drum. Don't move off the snare drum yet, okay? Don't practice it up here, don't practice it down there, don't do all this. Just practice it on the snare drum, okay? And get it sounding right. Now, if you look at your example number 3 on the notation, okay? You're going to see there are accents.